Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to discuss about spirituality, um, spiritual awakening. What do they mean? What do those words actually mean? Uh, I'm not attempting to define it. I'm just trying to explain what I have observed over over the years that I've been, you know, inducted into what we call the spiritual path. So, what it means basically to me, spirituality in itself, not spirituality, the spiritual awakening is it's a realization, that life doesn't just consist of physical properties, um, all the physical properties, and even the ones that we can observe through instruments like the atomic and subatomic, the cellular and subcellular entities. So um, spirituality in itself, recognizes that there is a metaphysical um, existence that we cannot see, cannot feel, and it's really very difficult to explain. So that's where spirituality comes in. Now, spirituality and religion too are, they are siblings of the same creation. Uh, People have demonized religion because it's organized with rules and regulations. While what we call the New Age spirituality really is an unanchored spiritual movement, um, really a scattered kind of spiritual movement, and it's just different groups of people that have been lumped together and tagged with the name New Age spirituality by the media. So there's no practice, there's no church called New Age spirituality. There's no organized religion called New Age spirituality, and that's where most of the so-called spiritual people identify with. Now, it's not organized in the sense of having um, a particular doctrine or anything. There's no doctrine there, so anybody can actually be a spiritual practitioner. Um, I mean, people that are vegan, lay claim to it, and even people that do only affirmations can also are also spiritual people. People that do yoga, people that agree with channeling, reading of cards, um, crystals, and all those, and yoga, and all those different practices. You can just be practicing one of them, and also be a spiritual person. Then you can also have what's it called, a guru that has an ashram or a shrine or something where you go and listen to them. You pay tribute to them, you believe in them, you revere them. Um, uh, yeah, those ones are closer to religious spirituality in the sense that they have a teacher, a master teacher, that they truly believe is an ascended, I don't know, an ascended spirit or something. And yeah, so but the difference is that they don't have a god as such. When I say God, I mean like the Christian or Muslim or other religions kind of God. That is a supreme being somewhere controlling and dictating everything happening in life. So that's the broad range of spirituality. Um, yeah, but for me, it should be. I mean, not it should be. It is an understanding of paradox. Um, I believe that in this life that we're living, we are both physical and metaphysical beings. Um, on earth, even the name human being, wherever it came from, separates the humanness in us and the beingness in us. Um, And of course, I've discussed about paradox a lot. We wouldn't know that there was daylight if there was no sun. Um, I mean, if there was no night time, um, you know, so we wouldn't know that there was. We wouldn't know what life means if there's no death. We wouldn't know what black is if there's no white. We will not know what space is if there are no entities inside the space. We wouldn't know what those entities are if there was no space surrounding us. So that's the interdependence of seemingly opposite dualities. We wouldn't know what is good if there was no bad. We wouldn't know what peace means if there was no war. We wouldn't know the meaning of silence if there's no noise. So I think I've made a little of the explanation. And what it means for me, to be spiritually awakened, it's a deep realization. Um, like I said in the beginning, that we're not just in a physical world, and there is another kind of intelligence, um, which of course we cannot verify scientifically, because it's not really within the scientific paradigm. Um, the science is considered to be true, anything that we can perceive with our senses, and anything beyond that is just not true. It's just a fallacy, or or whatever. But the truth about spirituality is that its power, is really can only be evidenced by its truthfulness to us. And what is the aim of it in the end? Um, I found out that in the end, it's just about um, being at peace with yourself. It's about self-realization. It's not really meant to be. It's not meant to be an academic exercise, in the sense of trying to define this and define that and define that. No, it's meant for the individual to experience. Um, like Terence McKenna would say, it's just like it's the felt presence of immediate experience. So just being here in the now, in the present moment, and observing your thoughts, observing what is going on in your mind. And being able to tune into your inner voice, being able to tune into your intuition. These are the things that are considered spiritual. Now, I don't know of any spiritual person, that can perform the kind of miracles um, that we're told of in the Bible. You know, I don't know if there's anybody that performs those kind of miracles of biblical proportions, like raising the dead, and changing how do I put it, making 5 bread into 1 million bread or something. People don't do those kind of things, um, at least that I know, and even the most spiritual of people on earth cannot do it. So there's a limit to what it is. But the problem is that there's a lot of claims towards so many things that cannot be proven. When I say proven, it still brings me back again to the physical world again. Evidence. That's what people are looking for. Replicability. If you can't replicate it somewhere else, then science doesn't consider it to be a reliable form of knowledge. So if you cannot do a prayer here and then go to somewhere else and do the same prayer and get the same result, then science will cancel it out as not being a very reliable mode of knowledge. In fact, not being true, basically. So spirituality, is a personal experience. It's a very subjective kind of experience. But the truth in it, the power of it, is that there are a lot of people. I mean, there are way more people that are religious spiritual than are atheists. Um, Basically, because science doesn't give us a how do I put it? It doesn't give us a way of finding peace of mind. It doesn't provide um, an explanation of our existence, of our mortality on Earth. And that's what people, are desperate for. They're looking for meaning in life, and that meaning, those values and whatever, are not really included in the scientific explanation of life. From the physical explanation of life, we were just here by um, random mutation. The Big Bang just happened randomly, and we've been evolving as such. So we're just here. We're just basically a fluke of nature. Um, but everybody inside them believe that they are worth something. They have a value to them. They have a kind of morality that's different from other living beings, um, and therefore their life has a meaning. And everything that they do, or most things that we do, you know, we tend to attach some kind of meaning to it. So spirituality is a way of bringing meaning into our life. It's a way of bringing an explanation for things that we cannot physically explain. So yeah, that's that's where spirituality really is. But like I said, it's a personal exploration. Everything starts with knowing who you are. Um, of course, I can't even be so sure of anything, but I just know that it's a way of defining ourselves. In this world, it's a way of placing ourselves um, amongst what is happening. It's a way of realizing that we're not trapped in the matrix, the so-called matrix of life, even though we are in the matrix. Um, but that there's another part of us, that we can use to influence our outcomes here on Earth. Um, I will not be discussing life after death and those other things. Um, but I don't think anybody, really has any strong evidence for life after death. Um, the We just have to believe what we have to believe and move on like that. And we have to tolerate each other for each person's personal beliefs, as long as it doesn't bring harm to somebody else. That's the goal of everything that we're doing. In the end, what we're looking to find is inner peace in this world that's full of chaos. Thank you, and I'll see you guys on another video. Bye.